Hello, everybody. My name is David Atkinson. I'm chair of the Department of Geography. Your instructor, Tuonan, asked me if I would do a little talk on an example use of differential GPS in the field. So to start that, I should tell you a little bit about what I do. I work in the Arctic. I work on weather and climate issues in the Arctic, how they affect people like indigenous communities or transportation systems. Also, I simply take observations using meteorological equipment. Here's an example location. I used to work in Alaska before I came here. Behind me in this picture is the Bering Strait between Alaska and Russia, just not far from a town called Wales in far Western Alaska. Okay, oops, let's advance. So an example research project that I had involved the question, addressing the question, how does weather affect snow cover on an alpine ice field? So I'm not so much worried about the ice. I'm not a glaciologist, but I'm more interested in the day-to-day weather and its effects on the snow on something like an alpine ice field. How do we answer this? Well, we deploy research instruments. We deploy meteorological towers on the ice field to directly take measurements of various things like snow depth, temperature of the snow, how much solar radiation there is, how much long wave radiation there is, temperature and wind speed at different heights above the level of the snow, moisture content of the air as well. Where is this work conducted? A couple of locations, but the one that I want to show you in particular is Columbia Icefield. All right, so where is Columbia Icefield? If you haven't heard of it, a lot of people don't necessarily know where it is. If you've driven along Highway 93 between Banff and Jasper, the Icefields Highway, and if you noticed, well, it's hard to miss, but if you took note of the large hotel, if you're driving from Banff to Jasper, on the right-hand side, after you go past a tiny little place called Saskatchewan River Crossing, on the right is a great big hotel, and there are cars parked everywhere, and they have these huge red and white buses. And the red and white buses offer ice field tours, but they don't actually go up on the ice field. They're only going up on Athabasca Glacier, which is just an outlet glacier of Columbia Icefield. Columbia Icefield, Athabasca Glacier, that's right, is one of 7 outlet glaciers. And Columbia Icefield is the largest ice field in the Canadian Rockies, well, in all of the Rockies, because these ice fields are larger than the ones they have in the US Rockies for sure. Okay, so let's see where it is. So I'm going to stop this share and start another share. This is always a clunky little process. Okay, so I made a little video that's going to zoom in on where we are. I can, oh, there we go. Okay, so here we are, Western Canada. So we'll just zoom in, and that's going in on the area of Columbia Icefield. So you can see it emerging there with that little kink in the border between Alberta and BC is. So this is the Columbia Icefield. There's Highway 93. This is something called the Big Bend. You drive on up. To get into the ice field, we park. There's a little tiny parking lot at the end of the Big Bend. We park there, and there's a great big gravel flat, like from an outwash plane. And a helicopter will land there and takes us on up in. So now that we've zoomed in on Columbia Icefield from Google Maps, let's have a look at the actual extent of the ice field from satellite, and then we'll see a digital elevation model on top of it that will show the location of the weather station. So here we have, this is another video, little sequence. So there's Highway 93 again, Big Bend right there. All right, so now we will run this, fade in. Okay, so I'll just pause it there. So there is the satellite image. This is Athabasca Glacier right here. This is where the tours are. So the little bus will drive up, well, actually it's a great big bus, will drive up this, you can just barely see it right there on the side, and out onto the glacier, and then people can get out and experience the glacier and so on. But it isn't an ice field. This is the ice field proper, 250 square kilometers, the Columbia Ice Field. There's another outlet glacier. Here's another outlet glacier, Saskatchewan Glacier, which you can't see from the road because there's a little kind of a wall of rock there blocking it. But this one, Athabasca Glacier, you can easily see from the road. And as you drive along, if you look up high, you can see ice, or you can see the white cap up on top. Okay, so if we let this continue, we'll now fade in to the overlay of the digital elevation model that I have. And there it is. And this I did in Saga GIS, just as an FYI. I try not to use products like Esri just because they're so dominant, and there are a lot of great open source products out there. That little dot is where the ice field is.